Greetings. Welcome to Karenhope'S 15 Minutes of Solid Inspiration, the channel where hope grows inspiration. Hi, y'all. Glad you're here with me tonight. Okay, so as usual, it's kind of late right now. So I told y'all I've been on the road for 5 days, and I've been home for a few hours now, but before I wind down, I want to go ahead and make sure I have the, excuse me, I gotta look down here. Okay. Make sure that I have everything done before I go to sleep, because I'm going to see you right back here tomorrow for the announcement of episode 98. Okay, so again, episode 97 of my daily inspirational podcast, Karenhope'S 15 Minutes of Solid Inspiration, was produced and published earlier this morning. But because of my traveling, I'm now, just like I said, I'm just getting now to the YouTube video. Okay, but we're going to get through this quickly tonight, hopefully. And, so we can all just get some rest, unwind and get some rest. Okay, the name of today's podcast is called God is the Shift. Okay, so check it out, y'all. Go ahead and go to the podcast platform links that are down below on the description box. Okay, check out today's episode. Again, it's called God is the Shift. And also go and check out a couple of more episodes, if you've missed any. I've told this very awful joke before and said, be like a tomato and ketchup. See, I almost just messed that up. I can't tell a joke to save my life, but I'm always telling jokes. Jeez. Okay, so be like a tomato and ketchup. To some episodes. Y'all, by the end of the week, we're going to have 100 episodes. You'll have plenty, of episodes to listen to before you go to sleep, or while you're riding your car to the corner store, or running your kids to school. You might, while you're in that school traffic, you just may need to listen to a little inspiration, right? Yeah. So, please, I hope I'm not hitting this table too much and shaking the table. But anyway, the episode, really the title really tells what it's all about, but just look at the details. Just take a listen, okay? Okay, so let's just keep moving forward. And I just want to say, I'm going to talk about this, okay? I did take a few notes, and I don't think I want to go to those notes. I mean, all of those notes. There are 3 bullet points for the notes that I was going to take, but I think I'm just going to stick to one topic right now to wrap up this video, okay? I think that really just sticking to one of the bullet points will pretty much cover everything. I really do think so. And I mean what I'm about to say with every fiber of my being. Really and truly, when I was, as a child, I'm going to talk about having a childlike faith. Having a childlike faith so we can understand who we are and believe it. Believe how beautiful and wonderfully made we are. To believe those things. And also, we'll get to it. We'll get to it, okay? Here we go with the childlike qualities that we all should remember. We should invite them back into our lives. If we have not completely let them go, we should invite them back. Like active imaginations. Those imaginations that are in detail. Remember when we were younger and we can see? Third eye stimulation. I didn't even mean that, but I gave my own self a chill. Remember when we were children and we think in our mind we would have a perfectly constructed fort, like the blueprint, everything. We'd go out and get the lumber, we'd go out and get everything that we needed. We might have even thrown a rug in that bad boy. Remember the radios with the big batteries and the long antenna that would be in there? I'm telling you a true story right now, and maybe to a summer. I was a child that was raised on a military base my whole life. So a fort was nothing to us. Nothing. And we built those things because in our mind, we would plan a fort and we would have a fort. Can you see us that we need instructions? Now as adults, we need instructions. I mean, we're lost without the manual. We didn't need a manual when we were children. We built that thing. From nothing, presso changeo, fort. Yeah. And some more qualities we had as children, like endurance. Remember, we would play outside all day and just had a little hot water out of the side of the house, out of the water hose, tasted like metal. And we'd be outside all day long. Hair stuck to our heads, smelling like sun and wet chickens. I don't know. I just said that, but I know the sun for sure. There was so much we could do. We defied the heat of the sun. We ran all day. We didn't drop. We didn't even have to eat. You remember when I was like, our parents would say, come eat supper. You just stop all that playing and come eat supper. Maybe we'd eat a slice of watermelon, Maybe we'd have a popsicle. I would have an Eskimo pie. Love Eskimo pie still to this day. Our imagination was full on. Our endurance was full on. And there was an innocence to it all. The innocence was, we can do it. We can do it. There was nothing else in our mind. There was nothing to block our ability. But as adults and growing into adulthood, we had tidal waves that come in. We refer to these things as storms, but in my imagination, I see it more than a storm. I see it like a tidal wave, because a tidal wave comes in and crashes and washes everything away. In a storm, at least we can go to the store, get some perishable items. We can go to the store, get some canned goods. We can board our windows. We can brace ourselves and wait for it to pass. Oh man, sometimes we get tidal waves, washes everything away, destroys our spirits. Do you remember that? Do you remember? We should remember and embody those childlike qualities that back then made us believe that we could do anything. Anything. We had so much faith back then, that childlike faith. It was so much, wasn't it? Do you remember that? I mean, I'm telling you, I can go as far as going back to all those bad children. We would make half pipes and ride our bikes and skateboard. I used to surf out in the middle. I would go into the ocean. Let me tell you something. If someone was to give me a surfboard right now today, I wasn't the expert surfette. But I would catch 2 or 3 rows at about 2 feet all day. And nothing could bring me inside, baby. Right now, today, if someone were to bring me a surfboard and, some sex wax, wax my board down and wetsuit, whatever, I'd be like, what is this for? What is this for? I don't need this. Get it away. Take it away. Oh, gosh. Yeah, we had so much faith back then. I haven't been the most proper and obedient in my life. But what I have done is love God, y'all, since a child. I tell you, true story. If someone that knows me right now were to say, she's not telling the truth, they would be lying and there is no truth in them. That's one thing that every single person who has crossed my path, they may say, she's a bit weird, or I'm mad at her for whatever reason. I'm human. I've messed up. And I've done my apologizing by changing my behavior. Period. Let me just go forward. Okay? Let me go forward. I'm going to look through my notes here because I saw myself getting off track, and I don't want to get off track. I just want to stay on track and say, when we're young, we have a childlike faith that makes us scared of nothing. Nothing. And I remember being a child and not being afraid to be peaceful. I was told, I was ridiculed for it, actually. And I think that to this day, I'm probably still preyed upon for it. It may not be that serious, or it may be. But I know that people, at this point in my life, I know that people kept me in their lives as long as our habits and our low vibe and everything was mutual. They knew that I would do my best to accommodate any and everyone and always be peaceful. Always be peaceful. I was always trying to and I still am. But now it's not to be accepted. Now it's because it's just what I'm supposed to do. There's a difference in that too. But I was in a place of peace then. So peaceful. One moment, y'all. I never know how loud that is. And that was put in me then for a reason. We all have those things, y'all. You have it too. Do you remember that? Go back and remember yourself. Remember those things people used to say that they saw in you. That is you. Our faith, that seed that grows on us, what we're supposed to be, our faith is supposed to grow. Our faith is supposed to grow like a child all the way up in adulthood. But there go those tidal waves that wash away the lessons and wash away the memories and wash away the strength and, if I may say, childlike faith. That thing that you remember, because you have it. Focus on you. What is it? You know what it is. You know what it is. I'll give you a clue. It's what makes you the most uncomfortable when it's time to step out of your comfort zone. It's that thing. Yeah. And it always starts with us as a child. Hold on to it, y'all. Don't let it go. It's there. Don't throw it away. Bring it back up to the surface. Till a little ground. Till a little water in. Water doesn't come up from this way. Water comes down this way. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Give it a little water. Open yourself up to positivity and give it a little sunshine so it can start to grow again. What that is in you is what makes you you. The true, authentic you. It's what truly makes you different from anyone else. And that's what I'm getting ready to get to. Okay? That is what God meant for us to be. And that seed He plants in us as children, that people say that they see in us, that's meant to be a guide to get us to be where we're supposed to be for God's will and for His glory. Which is God's will, which will always be for His glory. That's what we're supposed to grow to be. That faith is supposed to grow with it. Okay? If not, y'all, I'm just going to be direct and say, if it's not that, then yes, we're living, yes, we're breathing, but it's empty, right? We're going through some empty motions. All of them are empty motions. will see it outside ourselves too. Just like everything that we manifest, we're supposed to keep our energy positive. We're supposed to keep our thoughts and coming from a posture and a place and a position of positivity. If not, what do we see in our lives? Empty conversation, an empty life. You know, even people with a whole bunch of cash, they got that bag. They could be 100% empty, and they will be the first people to tell you this money means nothing. It's hard to see that when you don't have any money, but it's very easy to see that when you have nothing but money. Balance. You need balance. And that empty life, it also invites in empty promises, because we're vibing low, and all the company that we get, everyone we associate with will match it, will be conducive to empty. We want full. We want full. You know, full. We know how that goes. We know how that goes. Listen, I don't know. When we listen to the talk and watch the behavior of a child, we can call out what we think they're going to be. This is what I'm talking about, that seed that's in us. We'll listen to a child and we'll say, oh, that baby sure can't hold a conversation. That baby's going to be a news reporter. Or we'll say, listen, that baby's going back and forth. That child, oh, stubborn, that baby's going to be a lawyer. Oh, I see it. You know what I'm saying? Or we could see a little girl treating a doll. Here we go with socialization. I was going to say a little boy too, but socialization. It's really not what I want to talk about right now, because it'll throw us off, put us in a negative position. But, you know, we could see a little girl with a doll. I love this song. And she could be treating it gently and singing to the doll and treating it like a doll baby, right? And we'll say, she's going to be a great mother. No, that's what socialization will tell someone to say. But I would say, that baby's going to be a fantastic, top-notch pediatrician. Yeah. But bottom line is, their behavior, let us see what God had put in them. They were already working it out. I was 6 years old and completely zenned out. Let me tell you something. I've been about peace for 50 years. About peace. I don't know. I want everybody to feel it. I've always been the mediator. I've always been the person to bring, just to try to talk down, de-escalate situations. One moment. I knew that it was such an issue for me that at one point in my life, I would even tell a lie to make sure everybody was okay. Yeah, that was not a good thing, but I'm just trying to tell you that's how serious it was to me. It's not that serious now. Back then, that was just peace to be accepted, peace to so I can still be there. Now, this peace is just because it's supposed to be. I could be here by myself for the rest of my life. Just as long as I'm holding on to peace, it's going to be okay. But because, and I'm going to tell you something, y'all. When you start to feel that way, God will never let you be that way. You're not allowed, you're not supposed to be by yourself. You're not supposed to be. Let's go to Adam and Eve. God was like, man, I got to give you somebody. I can't have you down with just the cows and the chicken and the giraffe, silver foxes. Oh, God. God, we are not meant to be alone. And as soon as we start saying, I can be alone, God will make sure that you're not. Right? Now look, we're going to keep going, right? And I just want to say, all those things that I'm saying, it's not hard for me to believe God. And I just want to tell y'all, it's not hard to believe God. It's not. Now, my challenge, and like most of us, I believe this. My challenge is not being obedient. Just like more than likely your challenge is not being obedient. Our challenge is staying obedient, okay? I didn't say oppressed now. It's a big difference. God doesn't want us to be oppressed. He does not oppress us. He expects us to praise Him for who He is and not for what He does. That's it. That's not oppression. That's not oppression at all. How simple is that? That leads me back to this. Going back to that childlike, unapologetic faith. Tying this all in, putting it in a box, and tying it up with a pretty little bow. I believe there are a couple of things in life we should be afraid of. And I've been talking about God, and I will continue. I'm going to continue this way now. Before I talked about God my whole life, but I was scared to talk about God this way. Afraid of being looked at, judged, ridiculed, because that was already put in my spirit. You're too much of this. It's not going to be good. A tidal wave. But like I'm asking you to do, hold on to the childlike quality that God put in you as a child. I was meant to be this way. And His divine timing led me to this, just right now, to this moment, which is the most important moment of my life. The moment that you're in right now, which is the most important moment of your life. God led us here in divine time. Divine time does not necessarily mean, one moment, y'all. Divine timing doesn't necessarily mean like you're going to get that house or you're going to get that whatever. What divine timing means is when we've had the experiences that we need, when we've had the lessons that we need to learn, when we're ready for what God is about to present us in our lives. Divine timing steps in and gives it to us. And it's supported by the universe. 100%, because the universe is obedient to God. Everything in the universe is obedient to God except us. Isn't that something? But it's those choices. That's how much He loves us. He gave us a choice. I'll let you be free in what you do. Either give me glory or you don't. But that's our decision. It's our decision. But I'm here right now to remind us that we really want our decisions to give God glory. Because if not, going back to the unapologetic faith, we are going to fall every time until we do. One of the things is understanding the wrath of God. That's one of the things that I believe we should be absolutely afraid of in life. Oh my. We certainly must say the wrath of God is something to be afraid of. It keeps us divinely grounded and safe, kept and secure. And we don't want to be without that. There's no way to survive this life without that. We need it. Now, be afraid. We better be afraid of God's wrath. I'm just going to go there. Now, when it comes to God, I will not use the word but in a sentence. Because that word but raises doubt, questions, and indicates there's something else to consider. So, I was going to say that all that and say but we're going to put a period there, okay? And I'm just going to say there's something else. There is something else to be afraid of. And it's simple. It's very simple, but oh boy. We never have to be afraid of being different than anyone, y'all. We don't have to be afraid of that. But we should be very, 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 very afraid of being the same as even just one person. Look, when we're trying to be like someone else, we are writing off, throwing away what was planted in us, our God-given abilities, skills, and gifts to guide us on our path, on our journey, on our walk to where we're supposed to go in God's plan, which is always good. We don't have to worry about it being like, we don't have to say, oh, is it going to be good? We don't have to worry about that. It's going to be good. And even if it's just in our spirit, y'all, I don't want to take it there. I want us to have a grand vision, because it's the only way that we can manifest what we want. Our imagination has to be childlike, and it's got to be so detailed and so magical that it happens. And we can have a whole bunch of exceptions that we can fall on and say, what if this and what if that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? Especially about yourself. Be you. Do not be afraid of being you. Don't be like anyone. You don't want to be like anyone else, I promise. Cookie cutter, no way. Be your own beautiful self. And love the difference in you. The difference is you. Do you understand? You are special. You by yourself. You all alone. With no one else. With no one else's influence. When you were a child, there was something put in you. Hold on to it. Don't let it go. And if you don't remember, I gave you an exercise. I'm going to give you an exercise now. I don't even know if I said it, but I was thinking it. Remember what was put in you as a child. Remember what people would say that you were going to be. Remember that fort you built and those half pipes that we built. Remember, I'm going to tell you, we used to do some weird things, like get on the top of the garage and like jump off, like stuff like that. Like, that was crazy, but we had no fear. It was silly. But look, going into adulthood, we're not going to jump off of garages. We're not going to swing all the way up. Like I'm going like this. You say, you know how we used to swing so high? We thought we were going to flip over the bar this way, like in the swings, and we'd go so high, and sometimes we would let go and fly. Can't see ourselves doing that now, but we could if we wanted to. We could. So believe this, y'all. Believe this. You are special. Believe it. You are unique, and you are wonderfully made. Embrace that. You are. The Word of God says it. It is the truth. You are salt and light of the earth. Embody that. I'm telling the truth. You're made from a word spoken out of God's mouth. Embody that, embody it, be that, believe that, with the most childlike faith that you can muster up. It's that faith that made you be, just from some scraps, the master builder of forts. And, in our imagination, it could have been a mansion. No, it was a fort. I'm just saying what it could be, but we were building forts. It's that faith that saw you as you were holding your doll baby as a great mother. Or we know what we were thinking when we were doing that thing. The adults were looking at us think and be what God was growing us to be. Remember that. Remember it. Go back to it. Pull it up to the surface and go for it, okay? All right. Again, thank you so much for being here with me today. See you back here tomorrow, y'all, to announce the publication and the production and the publication of episode 98. Okay? And of course, again, if I may remind you, please see the description box down below to catch up with today's episode, God is a Shift, if you have not already, and to just check out a few more podcasts. Like I said, we've got 100, so, maybe when you're in school traffic, because we've all our kids are going back to school. Well, not mine, but some of our kids are going back to school, and we're back in that school traffic. So maybe it's a time to listen to a few podcasts, 1 or 3, while you're washing your car, while you're washing your dishes, when you jump in the shower, while you're ironing your clothes for, getting ready for tonight, for tomorrow. You know how we do that? We prepare for tomorrow. That's the way they taught us when we were little. A lot of people don't do that anymore, but do you know? Do you know what I'm talking about? So yes, y'all, meet me again here tomorrow to exchange what I call the most awesome energy, which is inspiration. Okay? Love and light to you all. And I will see you again tomorrow on this channel.